Have you ever wondered how strong your dog is? Do you want to see how a sport that's existed in some shape or form since the Klondike Gold Rush has transformed? This sport was featured in Jack London's Call of the Wild, where the main character, Buck, pulls a heavily loaded sled while onlookers place bets on his ability. That's right, today we're going over weight pull. Specifically, we'll be focusing on the disciplines in UKC Weight Pull. There are other venues such as the Alaskan Malamute Club, which is in multiple countries, the Worldwide Weight Pull Organization, International Weight Pull Association, the American Pulling Alliance, and GRC, which are a few of the more popular ones. Before we get any further into this video, I want to give a huge thank you to all the people who answered my call for photos and videos for this B-roll footage you're seeing. You guys are amazing, and I enjoyed getting to showcase your dogs. So who can compete? This sport is incredibly physically demanding. For that reason, there are limits on which dogs are allowed to compete. Blind dogs, lame dogs, or dogs that appear to be ill are unable to compete. The dogs must not have sutures, bandages, adhesives, or anything that is related to surgical or medical procedures. Females in season are also not allowed to compete. If a judge believes a dog is pregnant or lactating, they will also not let that dog pull. Deaf dogs and dogs missing a limb can pull up to the judge, as long as the judge doesn't think that their other limbs are too stiff or sore. While this sport does take a stronger stance on which dogs are ineligible to compete, remember this is done for the dog's benefit. We want them to have fun and enjoy competitions and training. We don't want them to get injured while they're working so hard for us. Handlers with disabilities are able to compete. Accommodations will be made as only one human can be in the competition area. If the handler is blind, they will have help getting to and from the chute, but they will be solo while the pull is happening. The judge will be responsible for accommodations needed for the handlers. In UKC Weight Pull, there are 3 disciplines: sleds, wheels, and rails. The test is to see the maximum weight a dog can pull for 16 feet in under 60 seconds. To compete, the dog must be registered with the UKC, and mixed breeds are allowed to register. For sled, you will have what looks like an old school sled you'd use in the winter. It'll be about 30 to 48 inches wide and carry a load at least 3,000 pounds. There will be 2 runners made of steel or P-Tex material that curve upwards at the front. When the front of these touch the finish line, the pull will be over. Sled will be competed on hard-packed snow or ice shavings like that from an ice rink. For rails, you'll have a surface made of plywood that's 4 feet wide and about 30 feet long. It'll have a metal on the side so that the rail cart to move on. The cart will be able to hold a load over 6,000 pounds and typically is about 4 foot 8 inches on all sides. The wheels will ride on the metal bit of the track, and the pull ends when the front wheels touch the finish line. The pulling surface on this will typically be carpet. For wheels, you will have a cart that carries 5,000 pounds or more. The wheels can be done on natural or artificial surfaces, which we'll get to later. When the front wheels touch the finish line, the pull is over. Each discipline will have traces, which are nylon or rope that attaches the cart to the dog, and they have specific configurations per the rulebook, so you'll want to check the specifics on that. There are 3 pulling surfaces that a pull can happen on: natural, which would be hard-packed dirt, fine-packed stones, or grass; artificial, which would be asphalt, concrete, or wood and covered with carpet; and the final is snow, hard-packed natural snow or packed ice shavings, again, like those from the ice rink. Awards and placements are based on the dog's size and how much they pull and the time it took. Titles have to be earned in succession and through UKC starting at the lowest level. You cannot substitute other organization titles to move up faster. Weight classes have 2 divisions, A and B. A is open to any dog that has not yet earned a UKC Weight Pull Champion Excellent title. Once that dog has achieved the title, they will move on to Division B. You can start in the B division if you would prefer. No dog can be entered into more than one division or weight class. Males and females will pull together in the same class. The classes are under 10, and then every 10 pounds in increments until you hit the 101 pound, in which all the big dogs compete against each other. There are 14 different titles that can be earned, and the specifics are on page 11 to 13 in the UKC rulebook. What to expect at a trial? The pool area will consist of 3 areas. The holding area will be set up for dogs to have sufficient space to hold all the dogs in the class. The on-deck area will be near the starting end of the chute. There will be 1 team in the on-deck at all times. The chute is where the pool will happen. It will be between 10 to 20 feet wide and at least 35 feet long. There will be a 3-foot tall barrier along all the sides of the chutes, which is designed to discourage dogs from leaving the chute and to keep people away. Some places you will see an additional crowd barrier that adds about another 3 feet. Note for competitors, no performance-enhancing drugs or supplement, because yes, this is apparently a thing. No artificial aids for the dog's paws for traction. So you can only use water in the on-deck area. No noisemakers, wipes, or other devices can be used to encourage the dog. Also, the judge can and will excuse you for poor sportsmanship or abusive actions towards your dog. You also cannot have food or bait in the chute or the on-deck area, including on your person, so make sure to check your pockets. The first thing you should expect is a weigh-in for your dog. This will be no more than 24 hours before the first pull. The weigh-in start times will be published on UKC's website. If your dog is not weighed in time, they will not be allowed to pull. After the weigh-in and before the first pull, there will be a handler briefing from the judge that will cover class order, cart size, weights, and the load increment. It is highly encouraged that you attend these. At the beginning of each class, the dog order will be announced. The judge will determine if any changes to the order are allowed or not. If you are competing with multiple dogs, let the record keeper know. You will have up to 3 minutes to change out dogs. Weight pull events can and will be held year-round. The maximum allowed temperature in the pool area is 94.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Starting weights do have set limits, which are listed on page 18 of the rulebook. There are also set 5-minute rest periods that the dog's able to take between pulls in case something happens. You can choose to waive this, it's not recommended. When you enter the chute, the wheels, rails, or sled will be lined up and loaded with your weight. Verify before attaching your dog to the equipment what the weight is at. The timer starts when you give the dog their pull command. There is a no pull zone that is behind the dog and in front of the equipment. Don't stand there, it's not safe. Before you give the pull command, you'll want to make sure you are the only handler in the chute. The judge and safety staff that are to stop the equipment are also allowed in the chute. Once you hook your dog up and you let go, you're not allowed to touch them till the pull is over. The judge will call the end of the pull and call out your time. Point of order, your dog cannot have their leash on during the pull, and you can't have the leash on your person. So if you're like me and you just loop it over your shoulder, make sure to ask the judge where your leash goes. Requirements of a qualifying score. The dog has to pull the full 16 feet under 60 seconds. There's a minimum required weight, short math here, wheels 8 times the dog's body weight, rails 10 times the dog body weight, snow 3 times the dog's body weight. There is a maximum weight that a dog can pull on the day, and that's specified on page 18 in the rulebook. It's a lot of math that I will say incorrectly in this video, so go look at it. There can be no fouls, which include pottying in the chute, corrections to the dog when in pool area or in the competition, improper starting position, dropping a dog at the start of a pool, which means that the dog doesn't have all 4 feet on the ground, the dog being released after the trace is off the ground, the handler touching the dog or equipment after the pool has started, or using a leash on the dog or having a visible leash on your person after it's removed from the dog and before the pool is complete. The handler can withdraw the dog at any time from a pool. Automatic withdrawals will happen when the dog hits the maximum weight, and the judge will indicate that on the scoring sheet. So far we've talked about what to expect at trials, but how do you actually start? There is some specialized equipment you're going to need, the main thing being a weight pull harness. A weight pull harness is specifically designed to balance the weight across the dog's body, as a rod in the back that helps to keep the weight from shifting side to side while in the pool. It'll also have a D-ring and extend past the dog's back legs when they're fully extended. Once you have a harness, you'll want to slowly introduce the dog to the sport. First, get them used to the harness. It's kind of weird. Then slowly add some weight to it, using chains, ropes, etc. to get to about 10% of the dog's body weight. Your goal is to build the dog up to being able to pull its body weight for about a mile before attaching them to any equipment. This will make sure they've built up the muscle properly, and hopefully you've made it fun for them so they enjoy the game. Before you get fully invested in the sport, make sure to take your dog to a rehab vet if possible, or another vet to get checked out to make sure that they are sound for the sport. To get a custom harness, you can get them from online stores such as Max Performance, The Working Canine, or Lakeview Dog Gear. When you feel ready to trial, join some UKC specific weight pull groups on Facebook and other social medias, and keep your eyes out for trials and fun runs. You can also find trials on the UKC website by searching weight pull and any states, since it can be difficult to find in states with a smaller UKC presence. And that's it. There's not a lot to get started in the sport. Finding the right harness is the biggest hurdle. You'll want to make sure your dog is properly conditioned and ready to go from a vet. Besides that, have fun with the sport and your dog and building the bond between you guys.